Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into the first article. The first article says no money left in Manrega coffers, 21 states in the red. Let us try and understand what is this article all about. When we look into the context, it says the center's flagship rural employment scheme has run out of funds halfway through the financial year. The budget allocation made to the Manrega scheme and program is not sufficient for this year, and as a result what it will require is supplementary grants from the parliament. However, because the parliament is not functioning right now, there could be delay in awarding the wages to the people who have worked for the Manrega scheme. Let us try and understand what is this article all about. What does Manrega stands for? It stands for Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. What is the scheme all about? It is a demand driven scheme. What would happen? People would be provided 100 days of unskilled work where in the rural areas. So all those people who are looking for job opportunities, who are unskilled work, such people will be provided with 100 days of unskilled work. What was the objective of coming up with this particular scheme? When we look into the government of India, there are two major sectors that the government of India has to focus on. One is the rural sector, then you also have the urban center as well. The urban centers are believed to be the pockets of economic activity. So what would happen? Number of people in the rural areas start migrating to the urban areas. Why? Because they want to look after their lives. Why? Because they have to take care of their families. So they give away all their activities in the rural areas and migrate to the urban areas. In order to prevent this migration from the rural areas to the urban areas, Manrega was initiated. So in order to prevent the migration, the core principle of Manrega provides 100 days of unskilled work to the people in the rural areas. Added to this, when you look into this statutory provision, it also promotes gender parity. How does it promote gender parity? About 33% of the work under Manrega is reserved for the women. So what is happening here? There is gender equity. Men and women are provided equal amount of wages for the same work that they do in the rural areas. This will be monitored by the Ministry of Rural Development. It will be implemented mainly by the Gram Panchayats, and what will they do? They will basically ensure that they create physical infrastructure for water harvesting, drought relief, flood control, so on and so forth. So the unskilled work for the creation of the physical infrastructure will be taken up as part of the Manrega schemes and programs. Another important initiative under this Manrega scheme is, let's assume for a moment there is a person who's filed an application for the work, but the government is not able to provide the work. So this person, if he is not able to get the job within 15 days after he's filed an application for the job, he would also be provided with the unemployment allowance. So this person would be given an unemployment allowance because he was not awarded job as part of the Manrega scheme. Remember, as part of the scheme, social audit is also made a statutory requirement under the Manrega program. So what has been the impact of this particular scheme? As we have discussed, this promotes gender parity. Why? Because it reserves about 33% of the jobs to the women. So there is equality. Women are also represented. Equal wages are also paid. So this enhances what we call as the gender parity. So the participation rate of women has increased over a period of time, and the unemployment crisis will not only hit them, but this will also give them a route for empowering themselves so that they can support their family. There is also strong data to suggest that the migration that we spoke about has also been reduced as well, and since the money is now transferred directly into post offices or to the bank account, financial inclusion has also come into picture. And at the same time, the core principle of reducing the poverty, providing employment to the people in the rural areas is also being taken care of. Since they are also developing the physical infrastructure, there is development of the infrastructure as well. Water conservation projects have come up as well, and this has revived number of projects in the rural areas. So the infrastructure development has also taken up in the rural areas. These are the advantages of the Manrega scheme. However, there are some associated challenges and problems with the execution of the Manrega program. What is it? One, we did discuss about the unemployment allowance. Yes, it is made part of this particular program. However, when it comes to the reality, it is not being paid in number of states, in number of villages in India. So the first major problem is that those job seekers who are supposed to have been paid the unemployment allowance are not being paid in the present situation. Then there are number of people who have no idea about it. So there is lack of awareness about the scheme and program. Further, there is building of unproductive and undurable assets. We did speak about the development of the physical infrastructure, but for the sake of this program, there are few assets which are created which is of no use. And ultimately, the major problem that we have in Manrega is delay in the payments after the work is done. One such issue that we may face because of the present context is the delay in payments. Why delay in payments? That is because when you look into last year's budget that was accorded to Manrega, there was a budget of about 1.1 lakh crore that was given as part of the Manrega scheme. Why? Because the country was witnessing COVID-19. People started migrating from the urban areas towards the rural areas. They were going back to their natives. They were going back to their villages. So what happened was there was need for the Manrega works, which is why the central government accommodated more budget as a package of the COVID-19 relief. So people were also given jobs as well. But in the year 2021 and 22, the budget was set at just 73,000 crores, which means there is a considerable drop in the budget. The central government felt that there will be resumption of the activities after COVID-19, but unfortunately, during this particular period, in spite of the migration happening from the rural to the urban areas, there is still need for the Manrega budget. Since that is not being accommodated, whatever money that has been sanctioned is completely being used, and as a result there would be delay when it comes to the payment. So people who are waiting for their wages to be paid, they will not be paid their wages because all the money that has been sanctioned has been used by the state government and by the central government. And at the same time, there will also be distress because they will not be paid their wages. So what we will also see is economic distress in their families. In order to overcome all these issues, the state governments will have to take their money which is in the state budget, spend it for the people, and eventually when the central government resumes its activities, when the parliament resumes its activities, when supplementary grants are granted, that is when the central government will directly have to deposit the same to the state government. So what is the way forward? As of now, there is the crunch of funds. So the state government will have to utilize its funds and ultimately deliver it to the people. So once the central government gives this fund to the state governments, they can use it as part of this program. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article here is speaking about farmer suicides. India is an agrarian country. What do we mean by it? More than 50% of the population are still dependent on the agriculture. Either it is directly or it can also be indirectly as well. And it also contributes to nearly 15% of the GDP and more when it comes to India. So this is the amount of contribution made by the agriculture sector in India. And who are the backbones of the agriculture sector? It is the farmers. But what is happening to the farmers? They are committing suicides, and these suicides have increased in the last 1 year and has continued to increase over a period of time, says this article. If we have to look into the statistics, according to National Crime Records Bureau, it says the number of agricultural laborers who died by suicide in 2020 was 18% higher than in the year 2019. So again, if we have to look at the numbers, overall 10,677 people engaged in the farm sector died by suicide in 2020. What was its number in 2019? Its number was back in 2019 at 10,281. What we actually see is a rise in the number of farmers who have committed the suicides. So what is the main reason? Which are the states which are impacted? When it comes to the worst hit state, it happens to be the state of Maharashtra with over 4,000 suicides in the farm sector, including a 15% increase in farm worker suicides. So the worst hit because of the farmer suicide happens to be the state of Maharashtra. Other states with poor record include Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Karnataka also saw a dismal 43% increase in the number of worker suicides in 2020. Now, the question is, what are the causes of farmer suicides? When you consider the land in India, one, the lands in India are crunching. The lands in India are depreciating over a period of time. The fertility of the soil is losing as well. Why? Because there is excessive use of the fertilizer. So, because of all these issues, the yield that the farmer is expecting is not increasing over a period of time because of excessive chemical use, because of excessive fertilizer use. The yield which was given earlier may not be the same according to the farmer. So, the lands are not as productive as before. The markets are falling, the debts are piling up for the farmers, and added to all of this, there is issue of pests for the farmers, because of which the yield for the farmer is dropping over a period of time. Then there are family problems as well. What are the family problems? Whenever there is a farming community that is taken into picture, they take huge amount of loans from where? If it is from the banking sector, the amount of interest charge will be considerable. But what do? The banks do not give them loans. Why? Because they may not have the papers, because they do not have the collaterals, and these farmers might also be working in some other farmers as well. So they may also not have the title deeds as well. So what do? They go to the brokers. Once they go to the brokers or the middlemen, the interest that they charge is exorbitant. Okay, they have taken money from the brokers. They are anticipating a very good crop as well. But what happens in India? Most of the farming lands in India is rain fed. Since it is rain fed, they might not get rain on time, and at the same time, even if irrigation is it provided on time? That is one more issue. And at the same time, they might not be provided electricity as well in distant lands. Since all these issues ultimately bog down to the yield, if the yield is not that good enough, the farmers go into the depression, and this can also lead to suicide tendencies, since they would not be able to get the better yield, they will not be able to get the profits. Once they are not able to generate the profits, they will have loan distress, and ultimately they may commit suicide as well. So the major reason why their families are in trouble is because of the failure of crop, and also because of no profit when it comes to the agricultural activities. All this has led to the farmers committing the suicides. Added to this, small number of farmers also engage in drug abuse. They are also alcoholic addicts as well. This ultimately leads to illness of the farmers when they are not able to pay back the money. This results in distress, causing what is called as farmer suicide. In order to overcome this issue, the governments have taken number of measures in the past. However, these measures are not enough. What needs to be done is more advanced measures that have to be taken up by the government of India as well as the respective governments. They have to create alternative seed research program that is government backed, and these seeds will also have to be reasonable as well. Robust and reliable irrigation policy plus electrification should be given to the farmers. Insurance against crop failures will have to be enhanced for the farmers, and at the same time, since they are not able to get credit from the banking system, the government should ensure that these people who do not have papers are also provided loans at an affordable interest. All these initiatives have already been taken, but then the implementation may not have been working. So the government should ensure the execution of these steps also comes into picture. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article says descent into chaos. The article here is speaking about crisis in Myanmar. What is the article speaking about? It is speaking about the military rule that is taking place in Myanmar after a military coup that happened in the year 2020. Back in the year 2015, And also in the year 2020, what we had is democratic elections which were undertaken in the state of Myanmar. So what happened? You had number of political parties which fought the elections, and ultimately one of the political parties represented by Suki happened to win the elections. But this was not taken easily by the Myanmar military. So what do? Because they saw the growing popularity of Suki, and at the same time the popularity of the military was also decreasing, and they also felt that there was large scale irregularities, and they also questioned the veracity of the oaths that happened in Myanmar, since the military felt that there is a growing prosperity, growing popularity of Suki, and at the same time they felt that there were large scale irregularities in the elections of Myanmar. They declared a state of emergency and ultimately took control of the country of Myanmar. So ideally, there should have been a government. The government should have run all the political activities, but instead of the government established by the political system, what we have is military which had taken over power in an indirect way by undertaking a military coup. After this military coup, country had witnessed a kind of a civil war. Why? Because people were not ready to accept the military rule. There were strikes and protests that were happening. The tentative democracy, which was supposed to have been replaced, was ultimately dethroned, and the military coup meant that people did not like the military rule. During this period of strikes and protests, the cities became a battleground between the pro democracy workers as well as the military forces. And in the rural and in the jungle areas, you had people who wanted to take up arms against the military junta. This is where the United Nations feels that this could result in a civil war. In order to keep a check on the activities of the military in Myanmar, they had to somehow put a pressure. So, what we have is the ASEAN grouping. The Asian grouping, this particular movement, feels that it also has the responsibility to ensure that democracy is reinstated in the country of Myanmar. So, what does it do? It asks the military head to surrender power to the democratic forces, stop the violence, enter into a conciliation process, and also allow the special envoy of the ASEAN to speak to all the stakeholders in Myanmar. Once this request was made, the military did not accept to any of these requests, and as a result, what we have is ASEAN, which had recently conducted a summit, and in this particular summit, the military chief was not called in, was not invited. So, what is the impact of this? This will be a major setback for the military general. Why? Because he wanted to get regional legitimacy. The ASEAN summit excluded the Myanmar's military chief. This meant all the legitimacy that he was wanting for will not be approved, and this will lead to further isolation of Myanmar, which could further enter into the mode of chaos, resulting in civil war, says the United Nations. As a result, the United Nations has requested the international community to put pressure on the military rule and urgently start the reconciliation process so that Myanmar does not enter into chaos or into the civil war mode. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article says, ensure Afghan soil is not used for terror. US India tell Taliban. What is the context? India and United States of America have called on the Taliban to ensure that Afghanistan is not used as a safe haven for the terrorists. We have United States of America which withdrew from Afghanistan. After the withdrawal of United States of America, complete control of Afghanistan is now under Taliban. One of the key criteria that United States of America had put for Taliban is that Taliban should not allow any other radical forces to be operating in Afghanistan. Why? That is because this could become a bed of terrorist activities and could spill over to other countries. And in line with this particular criteria, we have United States of America and India which have asked Taliban not to allow any of the terrorist activities or become a safe haven for the international terrorists. We have number of UN sanctioned terrorist organizations like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed who may operate in Afghanistan. In order to prevent them from operating, we have United States of America and India which have cautioned and have informed Taliban not to let its oil to become a safe haven for any of these internationally designated terrorists. Apart from this, India and United States of America are also planning to cooperate on multiple sectors like law enforcement, information sharing, exchange of best practices, strategic convergence on counter-terrorism challenges, and all the information will be exchanged such that they can prevent any of the terrorist activities that emanates from Afghanistan. We have discussed in the past as well. It is just an update with respect to this article. Now let's look into the mains practice questions. Despite Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act bringing a radical and rational systemic change by empowering the poor, it is beset with challenges. Discuss what are the causes of farmer suicides in India. Highlight the initiatives taken by the government to help prevent farmer suicides and suggest future course of action. So please write all your answers on the comment section. You can also put the image of your answer on our website as well. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.